Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Well, let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from the Confessions subreddit from Long Jumping Yak 7968 and says, I told my brother that I wouldn't attend his wedding. And before we do get into this story, I do want to give you a warning. It does contain homophobia, so if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. Me, male 25, and my brother, male 28, have never had a good relationship, and they only got worse after I came out as gay. Luckily, our relationship has gotten a bit better over the last 2 years. In those 2 years, he met his fiancée. Me and her never got along because she doesn't like gay people. In her mind, we are sick. I had an argument with her once and she told me that I needed help because, in her words, I am sick in the head and need professional help. It's not the only thing she has done and said to me, but I don't want to get into details. So my brother came to visit a couple of days ago. It was a surprise since he doesn't visit often. I let him in and we started talking. He told me he was getting married and I congratulated him. We talked for a while longer and then he tells me that he has to tell me something. I asked him what was wrong and he tells me that he wants me to attend his wedding without my husband and instead bring a girl. I asked him why I can't attend with my husband and he tells me that is how his fiancée wants it, that I should accept it since it would only be for one day. We got into an argument and I told him that he shouldn't expect me to attend since I wouldn't be there. After I said this, he told me that I'm an arsehole and accused me of not wanting him to be happy. He left, and a couple of hours later my mum called me. She asked what was wrong because my brother told her that we had a fight. I told her what happened and she told me that she would like to see me attend his wedding, but that she understands if I don't. My father, on the other hand, messaged me telling me that I'm an arsehole for hurting my brother's feelings, but his reactions are nothing new. Honestly, I want to attend his wedding because he is my brother and I love him, but as things stand, I will not go. Sorry if it is a bit long. Thank you for your time and have a nice day. Now, I can honestly say, if I had a partner who said the things that she said in this about one of my siblings, that would be the end of the relationship. It's as simple as that to me. And for him to come up to you and ask this is absolute bullshit. Fuck them. I wouldn't be going to that wedding. And I know it's, like I always say, it's incredibly easy for me to say, sat here behind the microphone, and you said that you love your brother because he's your brother, obviously, but I gotta ask, what does he bring into your life? You know, you said at the very beginning, the very first paragraph, you've never had a good relationship and it only got worse after you came out as gay. So I got to ask, what's this brother? What's his fiancée? She sounds absolutely fucking awful. What are they bringing to your life? Why do you want them around you? Even your parents sound like asses in this situation, especially your dad. I couldn't imagine treating a loved one like this. But Milky Coconut says, honestly, you shouldn't go. Your brother doesn't leave a woman who's disrespectful towards his family, aka you. Your relationship might have improved, but honestly I don't feel like it's enough. Now wanting you to come where you know his wife doesn't accept you and he doesn't try to defend you. Even if I understand that he is kind of homophobic, it's another thing. And even had the nerves to ask you to pretend to have a girl. You're married with your husband, for God's sake. It's not like he's just your boyfriend. Even there I think it's problematic. That's not normal, that you're being asked to deny your sexuality to attend a wedding. Opie replied to this and says, I want to be there for him, but I don't think it's worth it. Like I said in the post, his fiancée has done and said a lot of stuff to me, and he only defended me once. I get we don't have the best relationship, but it hurts that he thinks so little of me. Him asking me to bring a girl instead of my husband really hurt. Not just myself, but my husband too. It especially hurts since we invited his fiancée to our wedding, even though she doesn't like us. My brother doesn't like that I'm gay. He accepts it to a point, but I never thought it'd act like that. It just hurts. ABC asks, did they come to your wedding out of curiosity? And Opie said they did, but I had to basically beg my brother to come. Skyforger says your family sounds pretty awful. I'm sorry you have to deal with so many bigots in your life. I would 100% not be going to the wedding. Opie says, my mother isn't all that bad after her and my dad got divorced. My sister is the only one that I truly feel like she cares about me. My father is just, well, he's even worse than my brother. Conscious Arm says, so he wants you to attend, but he wants you to pretend to be someone who you aren't. So be someone else basically. And the person you're married to isn't allowed. Well, in an attempt to keep the peace, you should let him and your parents know that you'll be considerate enough to allow him to invite you and your husband as a couple, as long as you receive that invite in good time, because you're already considering going away for that weekend and you'll be booking it soon. Otherwise, don't go. And one more comment from Flabberjabberbird and says, your brother doesn't respect who you are, and respect along with vulnerability is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. If I'm to guess, it sounds as if your brother's partner is a homophobe and has your brother wrapped around her finger. Your gut was right to immediately defend your boyfriend and choose loyalty to your partner over your brother. This is a no-brainer. Priorities. Don't let others in your life persuade you otherwise. I think it's interesting how your dad is showing how far his understanding of your life goes. Perhaps in time, your brother and partner can update their perspectives to the 21st century. Until then, keep your distance from your brother and his partner, and don't entertain abuse from other areas of your family over this either. Anyone who attempts to separate a couple from each other within the social dynamics of a group deserves to either be called on it or to be kept at a distance. And OP says, my dad never really cared about me after I came out as gay. He dropped me, and the only time we talked was when he needed something. He doesn't care about my life whatsoever since. In his eyes, I'm not his son anymore. The OP did update the post and says, I want to thank you for all your kind messages. I couldn't reply to them all, but I've read them all. You guys are really kind. Thank you. So I honestly didn't think about posting an update, especially so soon, but something happened today, so I thought it would be right to post about it. After I made my post, me and my husband had a talk, and to keep it short, he told me I could go if I really wanted, but I told him I didn't want to without him, so that's that. Now for what happened. Early this morning, I woke up to a lot of texts from family and even friends. They've been messaging me a lot after it all happened. I looked through most of them, but I decided to not reply since most of them were bad. So the morning goes pretty good, and me and my husband leave at 11 because we were going to watch his nephew's soccer game. He lost. After the game was over and we left, we just had some fun. An hour after we got home, my sister called me. I picked up and she told me she and our brother had a fight over what happened. When I asked what happened, she told me that she asked him why I can't bring my husband, and he straight up told her it's because he's ashamed of me. After he said this, they got in a huge fight, and she told him she wouldn't attend either. We talked for a little bit longer, and we promised to meet up in a couple of days to spend some time together. I'll admit that when I hung up, I just started crying. I always thought my brother at least had a little bit of love for me, but I was wrong. I'm honestly planning on cutting him out of my life, and if he ever wants to be back in my life, then he has to show me that he deserves it. I'm honestly a mess. I just want this crap to stop. I hope he has a good wedding and that he'll be happy, but I'm done. Through some of OP's replies, I had to take a moment because just hearing about just thinking about his dad and the way he's treating him, and they were just holding on to hope, just trying to get some love from their family. Their brother, who they clearly got a lot of love for, but is just not showing any kind of love or respect back. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I could never imagine treating a family member like that. I'm incredibly glad that OP has got his husband and support from his sister as well. And I can't help but think a bit further down the road when this wedding does happen, are people going to start asking questions? Where's sister? Where's brother? Is it going to ruin their idea of having this perfect family there kind of thing? I mean, chances are they're likely to lie about something, but I hope the truth does come out and expose them for the arseholes that they are. But anyway, now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story from Negative Astronaut 974 and says, am I the asshole for telling my wife that I won't be opening the door for her creepy friend? My male 41 wife, Becky, female 39, is planning on traveling abroad to visit her sister and her family in the next few days. She'll be gone for the next 2.5 weeks. Over the past year, my wife has become very good friends with our neighbor, Emily, female 37, who lives a few houses down. Long story short, Emily makes me feel uncomfortable, and I think she's trying to make a move on me. At first, I thought she was joking, and I didn't think much of her behavior, but now it only makes me feel uncomfortable. Earlier today, Becky told me that she chatted with Emily and mentioned how she'd be going overseas for a few weeks. She said that Emily offered to come by and drop off some food for us, myself and our 11-year-old daughter Alice, from time to time. Becky was reluctant to agree, but after Emily insisted, she finally agreed. I was surprised that she had agreed to this without consulting me first, so I told her that made me uncomfortable. Becky said that Emily means well and it would be rude if we were to refuse now. I said okay, but that she shouldn't be surprised if Alice and I forget to open the door every time Emily comes knocking. Becky said that I was being a jerk to someone offering us kindness. Am I the arsehole? Opie had a little update in the same post and said, early this morning I spoke to Becky about my concerns regarding Emily's behavior. She said that Emily doesn't have any ulterior motives and only means well. She also brought up how Emily has her own husband and always tells Becky how great she is. For some more context, Emily is married, but her husband isn't home too much as he works in the military. When I asked if she could tell Emily that we don't need food deliveries, she said it would be awkward to mention it right before a trip and how it would only be once or twice a week. Another thing Becky mentioned that has only increased my uneasiness is that Emily had given her a spare house key just in case of emergencies or anything like that. For those wondering, my wife is leaving in a few hours past midnight tonight. Context for clarification regarding the key: Emily gave my wife her own house key, but doesn't have the key to our home. Some more context for those wondering what Emily does: I can tell you that she does a lot of unnecessary physical contact, like hugging me whenever she sees me, which didn't bother me the first few times, but increasingly made me feel uneasy. Not only that, but she has made very suggestive comments in the past. I'd also add that the way she dresses and her body language when she comes to our house seems to be a bit flirtatious. So people were asking Opie some more questions. Someone said, have you ever communicated your issues with Emily to your wife? Opie says, I have once before, about a month ago. She didn't think much of it. All she really said was something along the lines of, that's how she is, but I don't think she means any of it. Someone says, but it'd make for very awkward moments if you don't answer and she knows you're home. Opie says, this is why it's such a pain. I really wish my wife didn't tell her about our plans. I guess my daughter and I will just happen to be out most days. Someone says Becky is blessedly naive. Trust your instincts, never open that door. Opie says she is very naive and sometimes just too nice. But yep, once she goes, I'll be telling my daughter not to open the door either. Someone says, record her secretly if you can. This way, if she does make a move on you, you can show your wife. Opie says, our house has a few cameras on the outside, so there's that. Based on the past few months, I'm fairly certain she's trying to move based on how she's been acting and what she has said. Maybe she is only trying to be nice and I'm overthinking. Nonetheless, the whole situation makes me uncomfortable. Off the top of my head, I can tell you that she does a lot of unnecessary physical contact, makes very suggestive comments, and the way she dresses when she comes to our house when I'm home also makes me a bit uncomfortable. Hell no, if that person's making you feel super uncomfortable, I wouldn't be opening the door either. It's as simple as that. It seems that your wife only seems to care about being rude rather than your comfort in your own home. I find the whole thing to begin with really weird that they think that you're incapable of making food for yourself and your daughter. I'd find that really strange, another grown adult bringing me some food around. I know it might be nice or whatever, but I'd find it really weird. But Curious says, not the arsehole. Flip the script and ask your wife if she'd be okay with you telling your best mate he can stop by, even if you knew he was interested and made her uncomfortable. Ask her if she would be okay with the guilt if you turned out to be right. Good partners don't allow their SOs to feel out of place in their own home. Don't negotiate. Tell her Emily isn't to check on you. You're a grown man and a capable husband. End of discussion. Prof Plum did it says, not the arsehole. It doesn't matter why she makes you uncomfortable. The fact that she does make you uncomfortable and your wife seems to care more about being rude than about you feeling safe in your own home. Weekly Literature says, not the arsehole. If she flirts with you, tell her that you're uncomfortable with her advances towards you and will no longer open the door for her. You mentioned having a camera outside so you can use that to show your wife. If your wife still doesn't see the issue, since she says that her friend is simply like that, then tell your wife that she cannot pick out your friends. You have your own boundaries and your own deal breakers. She is not your wife's sister. She is not her cousin. She is not in any way related to her. Therefore, interacting with her is a choice. Tell your wife that if she wants to continue speaking to Emily, then fine. You, on the other hand, chose not to deal with her. Nor do you need to. Also, I bet if you try getting along with Emily and your wife were to open her eyes, she will think you're enjoying Emily's advances. Might even accuse you of something. Best to keep your distance. One more comment from Wicked Witchley, who says, not the arsehole. To be honest, I think you need to have a more firm discussion with your wife about your discomfort level. If I had a friend that made you feel the same way that Emily makes me feel, would you be upset if I kept insisting that I allow him around you when I'm not here? Because I don't like the feeling I get around her, even if she is joking. It's not okay. And I'm not okay with you brushing it under the rug and steamrolling over what I want. And what I want is for Emily to not be around me, period. Even when you are here, but especially when you aren't. For real, dude. Why is she so insistent on feeding you when your wife isn't there? That's sus as hell. And then OP does update the post and says, I would like to thank everyone who responded to my first post. I really appreciated your insights and support. I've taken the advice suggested multiple times in the comments and have installed a doorbell camera the day after my wife had left home. Fortunately, nothing had really happened so far, so I didn't really see much of a need for an update until recently. Without further ado, here is the update. For the past few days, things have been pretty quiet. I've been enjoying spending quality time with my daughter, Alice. She attends a summer day camp during my working hours, but we've been spending every evening and the past weekend together watching movies, going on walks, playing video games, etc. My wife Becky had planned on teaching Alice how to cook this summer, but since that is yet to occur, I've taken the opportunity. I think Alice is a natural. She picks up instructions quickly, and we've been having a lot of fun. The day before yesterday, our neighbor Emily came to drop off some food, as she had told Becky she would. I did open the door as I decided just to accept once, to be polite, but I let her know that she didn't need to worry herself with any other deliveries as my daughter and I would be cooking. She was acting normally until the very end when she said something along the lines of, if there is anything else I can do for you, please let me know. She said it in a very flirtatious tone. I thanked her and told her that I appreciated the gesture, but I reiterated that we'd be able to manage on our own. She then said, well, if you ever crave anything else, just let me know. Just think of it as a substitute for Becky. This made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, mainly because of the tone she said it in. The next morning, yesterday, Alice and I were rushing to get to camp and work. Emily popped out from nowhere and started telling me how her driveway was being resurfaced and she needed somewhere to put her car for the next few days. She asked if she could place it on our driveway, and I agreed, as Alice and I were in a rush, and because she dropped off food for the previous night. As I was driving away, I was mentally kicking myself, and now she'd have a reason to hang around our house. Later that day, I was home doing some chores in our garage when Emily pulled up in her car, mentioning again how her driveway was being resurfaced. I could see that it was indeed the case. We had a bit of small talk, but at some point, she went into a tirade about her husband. She shared how she sometimes felt underappreciated by him sometimes, and how they don't spend time together. I didn't say too much during this, only that I felt sorry she felt that way. I glanced at my phone and then pretended that Alice was texting me to come pick her up. It was close enough to her time anyway. I said goodbye and locked up my house. Yesterday evening was largely uneventful, and I'm looking forward to spending some more time with my kid. In the comments, someone said, good thing you installed that doorbell camera. Was it able to record what Emily said to you? What gross behavior from Emily. I'm unhappy in my marriage, so let me try and squeeze my way into someone else's. OP says the audio quality isn't perfect, but thankfully it did record what she said. I feel that she's just trying to make me sympathize with her. Whenever he's here, her husband seems like a nice enough guy. That being said, I guess I don't know what happens behind closed doors. Someone says, I hope you show your wife the footage of her making a pass at you. And OP says, absolutely, I plan on showing it to her when she's back from her trip. And I certainly hope that OP does show that doorbell footage. Thank God for doorbell cameras, eh? Anyway, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.